Which scale is better? Major, Dorian, blues, pentatonic, whole tone, or double harmonic minor? Man, this is a live stream, so it's really hard to do all that stuff. It's just me. I need a crew. If you want to be on my crew, let me know. So, I'm Mark Black. This is Mark Teaches Music, and this is our weekly Q&A, which is to play and sing. And this is episode 83. So, this is about getting people equipped to play and sing the music they love. So, technique and skill and personality and performing issues and being in an orchestra or a rock band or a praise and worship band. So put your questions in the comments the whole time we're here. The comments are there. Move them. So right now, questions, comments, and I'll give it a whirl. And usually it's pretty good. So I'm just going to do this because it says to do this, and I'm doing that. There you go. Different shot. So, and we're talking about any style, any instrument too. Guitar, seriously, the ukulele, the piano, the bass, jazz, rock. Praise and worship, talk about Domi and J.D. Beck, So anyway, any of those things. So I want to help you fix the things that are holding you back. And so bring all your questions, and we'll learn amazing things together. And just, by the way, if you're watching this after the actual live stream, be sure and post in the comments your questions or comments. And send me a question, or you can send me a question at Mark at Dallas Music Lessons, and I'll try to answer it and put it in the session next week. So this week we're going to talk about working with my students, regularly. It's like normally, of course, it's like ad-libbing, improvising. That could be just a little lick, just a little fill. It could be a whole solo. And that goes for voice students. Your voice student, Well, every lick you've ever heard, every fill, somebody going, let's see, I've been waiting for a girl like you. All those little extra notes. That's improvising, and those are based on scales. The keys are in. So even simple scales have worlds of emotion. So what we're talking about today is the emotional use of different scales. And today we're going to just do the very basic scales, just the simplest scales. And they have all these various colors available. So, and you should look at a scale, just by the way, it's a conglomeration of notes. So it's not just that bunch of notes, it's a tool. It's like you have this scale and it's like a hammer. This scale is like a screwdriver. This scale is like, seriously, it's like little jeweler's files, itty bitty, fine, very narrow use things. Some of these scales are very generic and work in a bunch of things. Some of them are only working a few things. And so today I'm going to demonstrate these on the guitar and the sax and the voice, so we get the sound of them. It's not about playing those instruments, but if you play those instruments you happen to play the instruments I'm going to demonstrate these on today, that's great. But the point is, any instrument wants to hear the difference between these sounds and how to apply them. So not just mental understanding, I understand what the notes are, but oral understanding. I can hear them, I can choose them, and we do this, and it becomes automatic and natural. And the next thing you know, man, we're mixing all these things up and having a great, exciting solo or lick or fill, and we want those things. So anyway, just to define, there's dozens of distinct scales. There are kinds of scales. I'm not talking about A flat and G as major scales. I'm talking about, Pentatonic, Dorian, and that thing I said, I haven't said it yet. Double harmonic minor and hypomixolydian and all these kind of things. So these are all just groups of notes that you can memorize and use, and you don't need all of those except for rare things. So some of these things that I just said, hypomixolydian, that's not that we're talking about classical and medieval Renaissance. So all I'm saying is you can learn the notes of a scale and get comfortable playing it. So the scales are not your masters, and you just have to slavishly, it's like some sounds are just in your head, and you go, what a cool sound that is. So anyway, today we're sticking with the three scales that 90% at least of all the melodies, solos, and improvisations that you've heard, the things that move this way, moving this way, not sort of blah, 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 all at the same time. The linear motions, like I said, scopes, improvisation, solos, melodies, and they are the pentatonic scale, the blues scale, and the major scale. 90% of your favorite solos in any style, really including classical, half of classical would be that. And when I say all of music, I do mean all of music. I do mean all of music. So that's where we get these numbers from. So if you got certain styles you love, in your style it may be more than what I said or less. But 90% of all those solos are pentatonic, the blues scale, and these are we're referring to these as major. So we're saying the G major scale, the G blues scale, the G pentatonic scale. So the point is because we're keeping them in the same starting note, that's called the tonic, or how they're built in scale. Not a root, it's a chord, but a tonic. So we're keeping them the same. So the point is we can notice them. It's not just that we change key, it's not even that we're changing key. So let's see. And they can be in major and minor. There's not what we're fixing to do today. We're going to use G, but it can easily be E minor, just like that. And we're going to do it today. So anyway, so let me just define real quick a major scale. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Check it out. I know you're amazed. So anyway, and the intervals is WW between those 7 notes, actually 8 if you want the last half step. The intervals between those is hold, hold, half, hold, 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 half. Wally wants ham, while Wendy wants hamburger. So for example, if we're doing a G scale, which is what we're going to be doing today, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Notice I'm using letters. I want you to think of this as easy. So any scale, like the D flat scale, has got D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Yep, we put some flats on there, but it's just those letters. So by the same sense, thank you so much, fan lady. So in the same sense, the G scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Boy, that helped a lot, didn't it, on that background sound? So sorry, guys. So, and then the pentatonic scale is defined. Penta 5 is the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth notes of a major scale. So that same G scale would be the G pentatonic, G major pentatonic, G, A, B, D, E. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And then the blues scale, major blues scale, is 1, 2, and you add in a flat third or a lowered third. So G, A, B flat, B, D, E. Now the point is not the notes, it's the sound. And so we'll do this the same. Oh, I'm supposed to demonstrate these for you. So let's do this. Well, I'll do it with my voice. So the major scale, ba 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 ba. The pentatonic scale, ba 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 ba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the top one is 1 again. And then here's the blues scale, ba 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 ba. 1, 2, flat, 3, 3, 5, 6, 1. So those are different sounds, obviously, but they're different scales, all in the same starting key with different little nuances. So one thing I want you to do is I want you to shift your thinking to a major scale is 7 notes. I want you to think of 7-note scales, 6-note scales, the blues scale, and 5-note scales, the pentatonic scale. So 5-note scales, 6-note scales, 7-note scales. And there are all those. And so you can use those in different ways, of course. And so what I want you to notice is the emotional differences in, we have the same notes, the same tonic, same starting note, but we're getting a lot of different feels out of that. So on the major, we're fixing to do the major. And so anyway, so with those 7 notes, just by the way, people are so scared of modes. I mean, I'm saying, so with the C scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we can get D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A Aeolian, and B Locrian. And if if you're like into modes, like man, modes, either they're so awesome, or how do I play these? Oh gosh, they're the weirdest things in the world. Well, if you're gonna play E Phrygian, it would just be the notes of the C scale, starting on E. The chords would have to back that up. You can't just play them. They have to have some context. The chord is the background, like my background here lends me to what I'm doing. Hey man, this guy must play music. He got a lot of books. He must be a book buyer. So anyway, and then in the same grouping of notes, and we go back to G now. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G can be used in the minor key. It's relative minor. We use the same notes. So E minor. So anyway, so what I want you to notice about the 7-note scale is that it's got more intricate, it sounds a little more intricate because it's got the 4th and the 7th, and there's a little dissonance there. And all music is about tension and resolution. I am picking up a guitar now. Wouldn't it be nice if this made some sound? I don't hear any note. I see it's muted. Here, let's make a sound. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. So it's G major scale. So notice, there's the 4th note. You hear that note? It wants to go up or wants to go down. The 4th note is a slight dissonance, and we want to go somewhere with it. Here's the 7th note. We want to go up or down. It's a dissonance. So the 4th and the 7th are in that major scale, that 7-note scale. And it's kind of like a guy with a large vocabulary. He knows a lot of words. And so it makes it seem, using the major scale, this is a statement, we're going to play with this in just a second. So the major scale has got the extra notes, or the 4 and 7, the slight dissonances. And that sounds like a guy with a sophisticated, he is smarter, he's got a lot of words, and so what he says sounds a little more sophisticated. And so this scale, when we use it in a song, sounds a little more intricate. And it's because of having that tension from the 4th and 7th notes. And also because it's just got 7 freaking notes. So now let's look at the pentatonic, that 5-note scale. We do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. But there's just 5 notes there. So this can also be used, whatever pentatonic scale you're using could be used in a major key, the same notes, or a minor key. Just like that. So because there's these 2 missing notes, it's a more direct sound. It's a cleaner sound. And it's not a better sound. It's super used all the time. Right now, in guitar centers around the country, there's probably 1,000 people playing this pattern. Here it is. Yeah. I'm trying to be a G. There it is. It's probably being played right now, or probably being played right now. Those notes. 1,000 people in guitar centers all around the country. So it's easy to play, but that's not the point that it's easy. The point is it sounds very clean, very direct. It's kind of like, the foreman is talking. And just as an example, most preachers, it's like direct. I'm saying this is from the heart. There's no frill. This is just the way it is. That's what this sounds like. Let's do it here in a different pattern. That's just a different grouping that works on these fretted instruments. So it's more direct, more forceful, and the effect of the missing notes that are gone, they created tension, now they're gone. And this scale, 5-note scale, can become boring because it's just got 5 notes. So it's a little bit, you can overdo it. Again, it's some people call it the foundation of modern pop soloing. And then we have our 6-note scale, which is the blues scale. Uh, Now, again, forget this is a guitar. It doesn't matter. So here's the sound. 1, 2, lower third, third, 5, 6, 1, 2, lower. So that note we added. So we got our pentatonic scale. I'm just explaining to you before we use it. So we've got that cleanness, but it's got a little, or it's got a cleanness, no 4, no 7. I'm explaining why it works like it does, but it's got this flat third, which makes it seem plaintive, moaning. You can say it makes it seem aggressive or bluesy. It's just an aggressive sound, or oh my gosh, I'm singing from the heart. And so it's in the middle. We have the major, that 7 notes, sound sophisticated and intricate, perhaps a little bit. We have the blues, the pentatonic, just kind of 7 notes, very direct. And then we have this 6-note scale, the blues scale, that sounds sort of emotional or plaintive or aggressive or bluesy, something like that. So I'm going to ad-lib a bit on first the guitar, then the sax, then the voice, because I'm trying to illustrate this stuff. And we're going to do them all on the same tonic now. And I have one little exception to my sentence. And my point is, we're trying to compare them side to side and get a feel on this. And this song, the first song here, is actually in E minor, not G. Using the notes of G, using these notes, but taking or removing notes. Now, unfortunately, well, before I do this, I want to say, so you should you subscribe, and share. It's those buttons on the bottom, and you can take online lessons or in-studio lessons with me at mark@dallasmusiclessons.com, or you can go to you can do that soon, but right now you can go to www.dallasmusiclessons.com and just check it out, see if you want to do that. And so I just want to say that last week we talked about the large majority of great musicians, most of them, they just use letters. Letter A, letter B, letter C. A, not notes. And again, I have a degree in playing the oboe. I play notes from notes. And that the point is, they use those letters to understand music completely, music theory completely. They understand just as good as anybody. They have the same understanding as somebody with a degree in terms of music theory. They can. And I've talked about all the instruments that must read from notes. There's instruments that they don't need to at all. Instruments that would be a good idea if they learned to read from notes. Instruments they must read from notes. We talked about how classical musicians, a lot of them, they actually don't know theory. They know how to play from notes, like they know how to read the words in a foreign language, but they may not know how the notes, what they're playing, fit in the song. If it's the third, if it's a minor chord, if it's whatever. So we talked about how music theory, your brain is deaf and your ear is ignorant. And so that we would use music theory to educate your brain and say, I'm hearing a minor 7 chord. And we talked about how to develop your own unique performance persona, making it easy for you to have a stage presence or a visual presence. That's a better way to look at it, visual presence. And about 3 easy steps to get to that. So let's go over here to this. And so now listen, I just got through saying, oh man, I'm using the G scale. Well, this song is in E minor, and it happens to be in E Dorian minor. And so that means that from a functional standpoint, Dorian minor is that if it's in A Dorian minor, the G major scale, a whole step down, G major scale will work best for that to reflect the Dorian minorness. So I'm going to do this song. I'm going to actually use the G major scale after I just told you, man, G, G, G. It is E, Dorian minor. It is the notes of the G scale. And that's going to sound like this. I'm going to show you this thing. It sounds like you're in band, right? You know. So anyway, and I'm going to make mistakes both in execution, but one of them is when you're trying to improvise, you've got all these thoughts in your head, pops, sound, and you're trying to replicate those or choose from them. And so it's very hard when I'm showing you whatever the major scale and a blue note pops in my head or pentatonic lick pops in my head and go, no, 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 don't do that because you're just showing the major scale. Remember, this is not about seeing the guitar. It's about listening, which is why I'm not trying to give you a shot on the guitar. So anyway, that makes it hard. You know, so these ideas pop in to go, no, you can't have that one because that's a pentatonic or whatever, and we're not learning the pentatonic right now. So anyway, so here's this little song, and that I did. And so, wait, actually, I want to hear you to hear this first. And I got this. I got a kind of a, anyway, we'll hear it. Kind of a ballad, and then kind of an bossa nova. So what I want you to hear is this scale first. Who knows how I played it? We don't know. We don't care. So here we go. Check this out. So did you hear that? Now listen to me do that, and then I'm going to add a little moment in major. 7 notes. You're just thinking of 7 notes. Oops. I want you to count off. Here we go. Major scale. Here's the scale. Okay, so that was major. Here's pentatonic. I'm skipping the blues, putting the blues in the middle. Here's the pentatonic. 5 notes. And here's the sound. I'm going to go to G minor, E minor, to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so G major, E minor, same thing. And so here, check it out. I'm gonna start over because I want you to hear me play the scale. Check it out. It's going to change immediately. Can you tell the difference? That's enough. That was a cleaner sound, I would say. Not cleaner, not better, just more direct. And it was cool. I moved around, of course. I'm not going to play a stupid solo. But now here's that blues scale. And again, just want you to hear the sound. Okay, now I'm going to start high so you can hear it. So that was it. That was just 1, 2, lower third, third, 5, and 6. So here we go. I'm going to start on that blue note just so you can hear it. It'll take a minute to kind of get into it. That was a blue note. Blue note. Okay, now I'm going to ask this anyway, and you can go and put this in the comments. Hey, TDV, that can you tell the difference? I'm fixing to play this, and I'm going to mix them all up and try to get the I'll try to say what it is as I do it. So anyway, I'm going to mix them all up. Tell me if you can hear the difference, and I'm going to say what I'm doing as the thing here. So here's the major. Yeah. Pentatonic. The blues scale. Major. Pentatonic. Blues. Okay, we'll stop. Now, tons of things I want to do or say are in these. Again, I can't reflect all the changes in the chords. There's a few little tweaks on the sounds in this that are like in a different. They move to a different chord, notes from a different key slightly. So I had to avoid things, and that's okay that I had to avoid them or whatever. Doesn't matter. So, can you hear this? Now I'm going to try to play something on the saxophone and to get the same thing. We're just trying to get, again, major 7 notes, blues 6 notes, pentatonic 5 notes, major intricate, blues plaintive, more emotional perhaps, and pentatonic more direct. I'm going to try because let's just see what happens when I don't know what's going to happen when I got to get the sound. Saxophone is so much louder than all these other instruments. So here we go. And we got to take this off. And there it goes. And I already said this is live, right? So I have to make it work. So just do the best I can here, man. So check it out. Magic saxophone. Saxophone just appears out of the blue. Look, a strap. My lovely assistant is throwing me tools. Not really. My lovely assistant's online here, which I appreciate. So anyway, so here we go. We got a saxophone. Check it out. It's a saxophone. And now I'm going to turn this whole thing down. And you'll see what I get with this. I should have lost a lot of signal there, which I want to have lost. And I'm trying not to destroy us all. Yeah. Okay, now our scale, same thing. This was the scale. That's our key. Major scale. Here's a different song, and major scale. You're just trying to get major sounds, minor sounds. All right, so let's check this out. And this is a very different kind of song, but I don't care. We just want to get here. I'll turn it up a little bit. Looks kind of low. Major. Now, pentatonic. if I can get that any louder. Probably can't. All right, now this is the pentatonic. 5 notes, more direct. Should sound more direct. Now, it's killing my ears. Now, I think I can turn this down like this. Yeah, that's helping me be a happier man. Okay, so now we're going to do the blues. This sound should sound more emotional than the pentatonic. Okay, now we're going to try to mix them up, and I'll just say what they are. And I'll start with, let's start with the pentatonic. Major. Blues. Okay. All right, my point and all that. Again, major, pentatonic, blues, different scales you can use. That rhymes. Major, pentatonic, blues, different scales you can use. And we're noticing this scale sounds complex. This scale sounds direct. This scale sounds sort of more emotional, easily emotional. And all these things we're kind of getting at what is a naturally emotional sound, so to speak. Okay, now let's see, transition, I did. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to sing. Now this is going to be, not me singing, it's not going to be a problem, but the problem is staying on the scale. It's easier when you have notes to read or to think of. And so we're going to a completely different song. And I've got some words here that I'll end up singing, and I didn't want you guys to think of it like it's scatting or something, like we're just making up. When would you ever go do 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 do? You know, when would you ever do that? I didn't want you to feel that way. So I put some words in here. I may use them. I probably will use them. So here's a completely different kind of song, and the same scale, right? Same exact scale. And this is exciting to us that it's the same scale. And yeah, here's this sound, completely different sound. Check, check, testing. I don't see any sound coming out of that. Did y'all hear that? Let's go back to the pentatonic right there. One of these days I'll get this all figured out. It's going to be a great day. All right, I got to hear this guitar. I don't think that's getting through to you guys. Looks like my voice is. Check, check, check. Okay, hold on a second. Let's try this. This has been my nemesis for the day. Is trying to keep this sound from messing up. And so let's do that. And let's do this. Let's see what we get. Okay, I see my voice. I don't hear my voice. And yeah, look at that. Yep, that was pretty exciting. Okay, 3 whoops, and I'm back. Okay, so here's the sound. Let's see if you can hear the sound now. I don't think you can hear it. If anybody's listening, give me a shout out as to whether you can hear that or not. I don't think you can. I can hear it really loud. Cannot figure out why that would be, that I can hear it in my headphones, but I see no signal coming out. And why would it be no signal on that exact thing? All right, we're almost, we're at the end, just about. I would like to do this for you, to hear this. See if something's changed over here. It shouldn't be. Okay, let's see what happens if I do that. Okay. Okay. So can you guys hear this music? Somebody answer that question for me. Can you hear this music? It says you can't hear my voice, but you can't hear the music. It's beautiful music is being played in my ear. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go with the idea that y'all cannot hear it. You can see my voice very loud here. Cannot see any sounds coming from this suddenly. Let's see if it was there. Was it here? Let's try this. It can't be the different song. Let's try a different song. And let's try this song. Yeah. How about now? Can you hear music now? Can you hear music now? Yeah. Okay, my evil henchman says that can be heard now. Okay, well, I'm going to take a second. I'm going to try to stick it out here. And let's, here was the sound that was being played. And it's in a completely different channel now. It makes no sense to me. But here we go. Here's this song. It's very pretty. Very different feel, right? All right. So let me go back to that. So our scale, 1, 2, the major scale, ba 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 do ba do ba do do. So I'm gonna sing with it real quick here. So that's a major scale, right? I want to get these differences. I want to start from the beginning so you can hear that. It took a long time to get out there. ba 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 ba. On your band. Da 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 da. Da 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 dee doo doo doo. Major. So I can say this. It is so good to have you here. Oh, it's so sweet to see your face. I thank the Lord above for his grace. I'm not trying to sing a song to you, I'm trying to hear. See, that sounds somewhat sophisticated, somewhat intricate. Here's the pentatonic. Ba 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 ba. So I'm going to scat with it for a minute. Ba 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 da da ba da da da. So I go. My treasure, my heart, my own, and I thank you for your love. It's so good to have you near. I'm going kind of carefully with that because I'm going to slip out of singing the scale correctly, just because of it's hard to do when you don't have notes. Okay, now the blues scale. Ba 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 ba. Blues scale. Here goes the blues scale. I'm not doing the note. Ba. Here comes the music. Ba da da. To have a friend like you, to have a love that's true. Makes all my lonely life with you blue note. I'm going to mix them up. And this has been pretty tough for me, especially the sound cutting out. So here we go. I'm going to mix them up. Major first. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. Makes all my lonely life worth it after all. And I thank you and I love you, for you form yourself and you alone my treasure. Major. Pentatonic. Ah. And when I think of all the years I loved you so. Blues. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, I'm going to stop. Now, this was about, and is about, the mix of scales. And they have emotions, and you want to learn them, and you can learn them. So, question number one is, can you hear the changes? Can you hear the difference? Can you hear as I switch from one scale to the next? So give me an answer here in the chat. And then secondly, did you have a favorite scale? Did you rather like the 7-note scale, ba 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 ba, or the pentatonic scale, ba 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 ba, or the blues scale, major blues scale, ba 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 ba? Did you have one you liked? Put your answer in the chat. Give me your answers. So let's see here. There it is. All right, so let's see where I am. Oh, there I am. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And so that doesn't look right at all. Oh, I see what's wrong. Okay. You know, Mama didn't help me much on all this stuff. So anyway, so this is Mark Black. This is Mark teaches music, and this is To Play and Sing. Is our 83rd 83rd Q&A. And today we talked about how every scale's got tiny, meaningful differences about how the most basic scales, these are the most basic scales, major, pentatonic, and blues scales, they bring very different emotions. and asked which scale is better. I said, major Dorian blues, pentatonic, whole tone, or double harmonic minor, or half diminished, or fully diminished, as a scale. Which is the best? It all depends on what you're doing, what you're trying to sound like. And the second thing I asked was, can you hear the changes? Can you hear the differences as I tried to demonstrate? And then the third thing is, which scale did you like the best? So I actually played in Dorian minor, and then I, depend on Aeolian minor, and then a blues and pentatonic, 5-note scale, 6-note scale, 7-note scale. So in the chats below, let me know comments, questions, and I want you to have a great week, and I want you to have fun, and I want you to be awesome, and I want this thing to work too. That would be great.
Have fun. Be awesome. I said like, subscribe. You know you should. Oh yeah. Have fun. Be awesome. Like, subscribe. Have fun. Be awesome. You know you should. Have fun.